to sit here and talk to you forever about nothing. You've seen me talk about ghosts. You've seen me talk about time machines, what I would do with a time machine. You haven't, however, heard my blog about what I would do if I could freeze time. It's kind of weird to think about if you could freeze time. If you could freeze time, if you had a special stopwatch in your hand, and you could freeze time by pushing a button, somewhat like pausing a video, for an example. You yourself would still be able to move and do basically whatever you want. The laws of physics would still apply, which means if you want to walk into a house or walk into a store, the door would still open. Like, it wouldn't be frozen shut just because time is frozen. I forgot my hat over there. But anyway, a woman's clothing, for example, wouldn't be frozen. And her wouldn't be frozen. But would it be warm? I mean, I don't know. I don't know that stuff. So you gotta think about that stuff. So when you think about it, and here's another thing. You can unfreeze, like if you have time frozen, and say there's something in midair that you want to grab and get to your hands. Well, if you touch it, it'll unfreeze. So everything you touch would unfreeze. Unfortunately, that's the way it works. So you couldn't just go around taking women's clothes off and having sex with them, because you, as soon as you touch anything on them, would unfreeze. I guess in a technical sense, if you took clothes off of a woman and didn't touch her brain, her head, whatever, the rest of her body would still be frozen, and would still be unfrozen, and you could pretty much do what you want to it. But in a sense of not letting her know what you're doing, you're kind of hard to do. It's just like you could mess with somebody by pulling their pants down around their ankles and just leaving them there, or whatever, and then unfreeze everyone, unfreeze time, and everyone look at him and go and start laughing at him. But other things you could do if you could freeze time is you could go to any store anywhere in the world and just take whatever you wanted, because if time is frozen, then all the video cameras aren't working. They're still frozen in the same position, and the tape that they're taping is going to the same loop over and over and over and over again. So you're not leg itches. You're not going. Hang on 1 minute. I'll be right back. You can virtually do whatever the hell you wanted, basically. You could have sex with hundreds of women, for an example. You could walk into the store and rob them completely blind. For example, if you went to Toys R Us, for an action figure collector, that would be his biggest dream, is to just freeze time, walk into the Toys R Us, and steal all the action figures that you wanted. They're high priced anyway. All they're doing is ripping us off. For God's sakes, I saw a Millennium Falcon in there a couple years ago. It was like $100. $100, $98. I'm not shitting you, dude. Like I'm gonna pay $100 for a Millennium Falcon. Whatever. You can pay the $100 for a Millennium Falcon, but I'm not going to. Anyway, you can do that with any store. You can take whatever you want. You go to a gun store and steal all the guns, and nobody would know. You can go to a liquor store and take all the booze, which is something I would probably do. You can take all the cigarettes. You can take all the food from a grocery store that you ever wanted, that you ever wanted to eat, but it was too expensive to eat, to buy. So you just take it. You get free gas. You get free airplane tickets. You get a free ride on an airplane. You get a free ride on a bus, a limousine. You get a free ride. You know why? Time would be frozen. So what you do is you go to the limo driver and you just tell him, at this point, time, you would have to unfreeze time, because if you unfreeze time, then guess what? If you freeze time, then guess what? All the traffic would be stopped in like one place, and you wouldn't be able to get from point A to B without either going on, maybe if you went onto the sidewalk and just kind of got around the cars, but in a technical sense, you wouldn't be able to go anywhere. Time would have to continue in motion. The car wouldn't move anyway. So you get in there, you unfreeze time, yeah, do all these things, and you have the limo driver take you wherever you want to go, wherever you want to go. Then you just freeze time and you walk out and disappear. See what I'm saying? But here's the problem. The limo driver, he's going to remember you. And he may have a camera in the limo. I don't know. We never know about that stuff. And he's going to report you. So the best thing to do is just drive yourself wherever you want to go. Because if you can freeze time, you can steal money from any bank or any cash register. Just take the money from the register, or take money from people or whatever. You know what I mean? And then you could take a limo and you'd be able to pay the guy, and nobody would be the wiser. And that's going to be the topic of my next subject. What would you do if you were a billionaire? I'm not just talking about a millionaire. I'm talking about unlimited funds. But that's on the next edition of this show. Until then, I'll see you at the finish line. And don't forget, yippee-ki-yay, mother!